Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 46th edition of the Dump and Chase podcast. The Phantom's main camp has come and gone, plenty of hockey and hotel hijinks to be discussed, and there will be some new faces at the Convelli Center this fall. My name is Sam Olmstead, and with me, as always, is a man that I owe a major apology to, Mr. Justin Irwin.
Okay, a major apology. What did you do this time?
You see, when we were making plans for main camp, you originally suggested that we stay at a campground, which I dismissed right away without giving an ounce of thought. Now, in hindsight, I owe you an apology for that, and I'll tell you why. At the hotel on Saturday night, when we decided to tuck in for the night, you get in your bed and fall asleep in about 3 minutes. Now, I knew you were asleep because you were snoring loudly.
Oh, that was
this was
me snoring.
Yeah, it was. This was a noise I got to listen to for the next hour before I finally fell asleep. And the thing was, as I'm laying there, I kept thinking that if we had gone to the campground, the likelihood of you being eaten by a bear was way higher than staying on the 4th floor of a hotel. And if you were eaten by a bear, I would have gotten like an extra hour of sleep.
Yeah. I hate to tell you, you were snoring too. And for more than an hour.
And the worst part of all of this, I was pitching you ideas for this episode, little video bits or whatever we could record, that while we were down there that we could throw into this. This exact scenario was one of them. If you remember. I didn't know at the time if you snored. It was an idea that popped into my head. Yeah, we decided not to do them, and then that night, the whole thing ends up playing out in real life anyways.
Okay, moving on.
Okay, so like I mentioned in the open, of course, the Phantom's main camp was held this past week. Then the news came out on Monday of an organizational shakeup. We got the announcement of the inaugural USHL American Cup that will take place in December, and which will feature the Phantoms and the Green Bay Gamblers. And we'll also talk some more about spending time in a small confined space in Washington, Pennsylvania. But first, we're excited to announce that we have our first sponsor for the podcast. So, without further ado, this episode of the Dump and Chase podcast is brought to you by Mature Singles. If you are in the greater Pittsburgh area and are looking for companionship of the well-seasoned variety, check out Mature Singles. Be sure to keep an eye out for their advertisements, most of which can be found at the on-ramp to I-79 North in Washington, PA. Mature Singles, because who doesn't like aged beef?
I hope you get jingle music.
Our hotel was right across the street from that Meadows Racetrack and Casino or whatever. I-79 was like half a mile down the road. Saturday, we leave the hotel to go back to the arena for the first All-Star game. We get onto the on-ramp, and there is just this sign that says Mature Singles with a phone number underneath, just staked into the side of the road on the on-ramp. I don't think we stopped laughing until we pulled into the parking lot.
You were driving, and I was really impressed that we did not wreck. Because my sides were splitting.
And then we kept talking about, we need to get a picture of this sign. And the way you were talking was you were just going to drive by and like snap a picture, as you were driving by it. No, you pulled over on the on-ramp, got out of your car, ran up in front of the sign and started taking pictures while cars are driving by. They don't know we're doing this as a joke.
I mean, I can't be moving and, compose a good photo. Composition, man.
And all I kept thinking is a cop is going to come onto this on-ramp, and then one of us is going to have to explain to him what we're doing.
Oh, I'm sure I would have had a lot to explain.
Yeah. So anyways, moving on. So, of course, main camp started last week. Justin, you went down on Thursday and Friday. I did not get there till Saturday, so you get to give us, I guess, your take on what you saw on Thursday and Friday. And I will also point out, most people have swear jars. I will point out I have a roster jar here. And every time you complain about not having access to a roster during this entire weekend, I'm going to drop a quarter into this jar. And we'll see at the end of the episode how much ended up being collected into this jar. So go ahead.
Since there were no rosters to be had. Yeah.
Continue.
Yeah. It sometimes you have to kind of figure out who players are, on your own. Sometimes you get lucky. Sometimes it's a little harder. I swear to God, sometimes they try to disguise guys. But yeah, I muddled through. It's just several scrimmages per day, different squads, kind of different rules. They're not really worried about penalties. If there's something egregious, there's some sort of not really a penalty shot. It's kind of like a breakaway with some guy leading the charge and everybody following him. And if there's a rebound, then play on. I don't know. It's weird. So, there were a lot of really good players. Some people who weren't drafted. Some invitees. Let's see. Let me go to my notes here. So yeah, one guy who didn't make the cut, but definitely looked good. Somebody, I don't know, maybe get an affiliate on an affiliate list, or somebody you might see show up in the null. Nicholas Hussa, real high energy kid with the Philadelphia Junior Flyers, Atlantic Youth Hockey League. He scored a couple of goals, and just worked his tail off. So I'm sure he got noticed by some of the mini scouts there. Another kid who showed up, Carson Galen. He's in 03, played with the Meyer 18 AAA. He made the Stars games, the kind of preliminary all-star. Yeah, he good hustle. I saw him in a shootout during main camp. Pulled off just a spectacular dangle in front. Might not have counted in a legit game. Forward momentum, but still impressive hands.
Okay, so we get to Saturday morning. That is when I arrived. No one's pleasure. Everybody's always happy to see me. They're so happy they can't help but run the other direction.
Don't worry, they were avoiding me as well.
Why were they avoiding you?
Something about me asking for rosters.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So I can get through this. The Stars games, right away I had people telling me, well, it looked like there was a lot more compete in the Stars games than there were on Thursday and Friday. I had nothing to compare to. I had no clue who anybody was at this point yet. Actually, in all honesty, I ended up kind of spending more time kind of walking around talking and kind of catching up with people than paying attention to the games. It's when you don't have rosters, it kind of takes away from really knowing what you're looking at.
It is kind of fun trying to pick out names and numbers on helmets and, try to match up. Okay, these colors. What youth team is that?
But no, so we had the Stars games in the morning. We had a hotel to check into. We were both starving. What was as far as where we ended up eating, what was the phrase you used?
When in Rome? No.
Something about trying out the local cuisine and.
Oh yeah, I mean you always have to sample the native cuisine. Yeah.
Yeah, so we went to Eaton Park.
Yes. Our palates are not acclimated to the local
fine
cuisine,
delicacies that apparently has become of Eaton Park. That was not good.
No, I've had much better. I mean, maybe they're a little, I know a lot of places are having staffing issues, things like that. No bueno.
I mean, I got a burger. It wasn't bad. The 10 French fries on my plate were a little overcooked, but I managed to muddle through. Yeah, so at Eaton Park, we get to the hotel. Nice little hotel. You especially love the part. There was no blood anywhere, no dirty syringes laying on the pillows, anything like that. So we were good there.
Only one fight in the hallway.
Yeah, that night, I decided to go down to the little commissary by the front desk to grab some snacks. I'm coming back up the elevator. I hear this shrieking noise on the second floor. that's getting louder as the elevator is going up. I'm thinking the elevator is about to break. And then by the time I reach the top floor, I hear it's not shrieking, and in fact, it is two people arguing with each other, very emphatically. The elevator doors open, and the fight is right in front of me. I'm not going to go into many other details about it because the cops may or may not have been involved later on, and I really don't want to be called as a witness. Yeah, this was a...
Fortunately, hotel staff did seem to come into this, so it's definitely a much better establishment than what I'm normally used to.
It was the elevator doors opened. It was right there in front of me. It was a bit of a trick getting around it and getting away from that area, but yeah. But other than that, I mean, nice hotel. Unfortunately, the sun rises in Washington, PA at 5:30 in the morning, and where my head is on the pillow, the sun is in direct sight of my eyeballs. So yeah, I got woken up at 5:30 in the morning because the sun was straight directly into my face. But again, nice hotel. Can't complain. Yeah, so we get checked out of the hotel Sunday morning. Actually, no, I guess at this point we are to the All-Star game on Saturday night. There are a few players we were able to figure out because we didn't have the rosters.
We're a lot more confident in our assessment of at least the All-Star game.
Yeah, we were able to tag a few here and there. We'll bring those guys up here in a little bit. Good compete level in the All-Star game. At this point, you're starting to see returners from last year. Some of the higher draft picks. What they're capable of doing out on the ice. Especially some of the Phase 1 picks. There was a lot to like in what we saw in the Phase 1 picks.
Yeah. Just, obviously several top tier players. William Whitelaw, Daniel Johnson, just to name a couple. Obviously, these are players we hope to see soon. Might take a year or two for some of them. Some of them look to be ready right now. The 2 draft picks from the Pittsburgh Penguins Elite 15s, Svoboda, Stupik, however, at some point we'll figure out how to pronounce that one. I will say that I did not bring up in the draft episode, as far as having to pronounce names, this was probably one of the easiest drafts we've had so far. Agreed.
There was not much degree of difficulty in last names this year. So I forgot to mention that during the draft special, but yeah, that was a nice little bonus.
I think less Europeans help.
Yeah. What was your story, the kid from Utah that we were talking about on Saturday?
Oh, yeah, I can't remember his name. It was one of those big, long, hyphenated names.
Lots of consonants strung together.
Yeah, I mean, started on the one shoulder, ended on the other shoulder, across the back. I felt sorry. Yeah, I felt sorry for the equipment manager who had to get that on there. Yeah, my dad, who was with me at the game, goes, "Man, what country is he from?" I'm like, I have no idea where that name's from. So I looked it up, and he was from Utah.
Yeah.
That's strange country, my friends.
Yeah. Yeah, then we get to the second All-Star game on Sunday morning, which by the looks of it were pretty much everybody that was in the first one. We could definitely tell a couple kids flip teams, maybe just kind of maybe seeing chemistry-wise how some kids maybe work together. It was very obvious a couple of them had flipped sides. But yeah, second All-Star game. I got to watch that and jumped in our cars, drove home.
Yeah, fun ride home.
Thought we were good to go, and then, I got home, I got a nap. I was good, had a nice little Father's Day dinner, and then get up Monday, and oh boy, here we go.
Yeah, actually, I had was doing a lot of work around the house early. I laid down for a nap, and all of a sudden, I'm getting messaged, and it's like, what?
Yeah.
So.
But yeah, we'll get into that here in a second. Yeah, we wanted to mention a few players at camp, starting with Mike Brown. I believe from now on, I'm going to refer to him as the elevator. He was throwing his weight around. During these all-star games, every time he hit a kid, they were halfway up the glass by the time he was done with them. So Mike Brown was giving no quarter in these all-star games, even though these kids are, potential future teammates. He was not letting off the gas at all.
Well, I saw him trying to size up and line up a couple of returners.
Yeah.
Trying to come across the blue line. It's like, you're not supposed to kill him.
Yeah, Mike Brown came to play. He was not there to play patty cake with anyone.
Nope.
Another one I wanted to bring up, not bringing him up because we actually got to meet his dad in the concourse, had some very nice things to say to us. Apparently, as it stands right now, we are the #1 Youngstown Phantoms podcast in St. Louis, Missouri. So we're very proud of that. In the St. Louis market, we are the #1 Youngstown Phantoms podcast. Very proud of that. Got to meet, I got to meet Jack's dad. But no, Jack Larrigan, I guess we're going to have to add him to the list of things we have to watch what we say about him on this show.
Wait, we have a list?
No, there's no list.
Wait, why did you tell me about the list?
There's no list. We're moving on. Shut up. But no, Jack Larrigan, I mean, the season only ended, not even 2 months ago. It was very obvious. We saw him progress throughout the season. It's very obvious the work he's put in the last couple months, just seemed that much faster, that much stronger, just that much better with the puck. It was clearly obvious, the progress he's made in, not even the 2 months since the season ended.
So, yeah, he was skating extremely well. So, I guess maybe some of these guys, they didn't like the way things turned out last season. So, you can only change so much. Change yourself. Get better.
Another one, another returner, Jaden Grant. I'll tell you, that kid he looks like a leader out on the ice.
Yeah, definitely.
Quite honestly, I would be surprised if he doesn't end up as team captain next season. This kid, he looks like a leader out on the ice. Just when he came, the player he kind of became when he came back from that injury last season, just kind of muddled through the beginning, like the player he developed into when he came back from that injury, and it's just, the way he was at the beginning of the season to the way he was playing at the end of the season, and then seeing him out on the ice here, and you saw him talking to other kids, just kind of, just kind of showing him this and that and everything else. To me, honestly, I'd be shocked if this kid isn't team captain, by January.
Even just, talking to Megan in the hallway. I think maybe he missed some time. So when he comes back, he decides that, he's going to make the use of whatever ice time he gets. He never takes a shift off. Every shift work. Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Grind it out. Do whatever you have to do. And then wait for your next shift. Repeat.
Another returner, Byard Hall, defenseman, 1 goal, I believe 5 assists last season. Apparently he's been doing some stick handling drills over the past couple months. Holy crap. This kid, Byard Hall was like, I don't know if like Georgie passed it on to him. This kid was in the slot stick handling out of a phone booth, putting pucks in the back of the net. Wow.
Yeah. I saw him a couple of times. Just I'm gonna crash it up the middle. Whatever. I had forgotten for a minute that he was a defenseman.
I had to go look it up. I'm like, he's a defenseman, isn't he? I'm like, I'm fairly certain he is, but
yeah. So
maybe Georgie left one of his magic sticks behind and he picked it up, or
I do not know.
Really work. Wow.
Yeah, he was having fun out there. That's for sure.
To me, that was kind of the surprise of the weekend. That was just watching him play.
Pleasant surprise.
I don't know if this has been part of his game and he just didn't get much of a chance to use it last season. But yeah, it was on full display over the weekend. A couple of the newcomers, of course, the Phase 1 first overall draft pick, William Whitelaw. This kid is as advertised.
Yeah, no doubt. I might have thought going in that it's like, okay, yeah, whatever. I realize he's the top draft pick, etc. Passed over for Team USA, and but whatever. Yeah, complete package there. No part of this game.
I think he's still 15. I don't know if he's 16 yet. I mean, he looked like a man playing a boys game out there.
Yeah.
He's just on a whole nother level. Of course, he's 15 years old playing prep at Shattuck St. Mary. I had seen it somewhere, and then Andrew pointed it out to us on Saturday. I believe one of only like 5 or 6 kids in Shattuck's history, to be 15 years old and playing on the prep team. This kid is something special. I cannot wait to see him in a Phantoms uniform at the Cavelli Center. Hopefully sooner than later.
Yeah. That's just the whole thing is, can they land him? When can they land him?
Last one we want to mention is Daniel Johnson. Daniel Johnson was the Phantoms Phase 1 5th round pick from the Chicago Young Americans. This kid, wow.
If you want to see impressive skating,
this kid is a defenseman. His skating was top notch. Defensively, offensively, just creating havoc in the neutral zone. I mean, his stick work on defense, his puck work on offense, getting through the neutral zone, coming into the zone. It was just, I mean, it almost looked boring. That's the way I can think to describe it. Like, he made it look so easy. I mean, just deking in and out of guys, getting into the zone, and like it almost looked like no effort was required. It was so easy for him to do it.
You almost expected him to pull out a sandwich and eat it while he's going through guys.
Yeah. The only real critique I had was there was like a little bit of an issue of him kind of finishing plays. He'd bring the puck into the zone, and then he would drag it in deep, and then everything would kind of fall apart at that point. Maybe at some point he'll figure that out, or maybe, just maybe devise a system where he can get it into the zone and, dump it off to somebody else. It almost kind of felt like he was trying to do stuff that maybe he hadn't done before, or, maybe something that worked on a younger level, but, not so much with, the speed and everything else being so much more in the USHL. That was really the only, you just saw a lot of times, he'd get the puck down low and then it would just kind of fall off his stick, and, that was the end of it. I think maybe him getting rid of the puck a little faster on some of these zone entries, but that was the only issue I saw. Everything else was, just incredible to watch.
Yeah, I mean, it might be a case of his vision is too good. He sees things out there and thinks a little too far ahead of the play. And then maybe things don't develop the way he's anticipating, but yeah, I think probably a little bit of training, some quicker handoffs there, or maybe just pull up and shoot it, which I did see him do on a couple of occasions, and he's got a heck of a shot.
Yeah. Now when we say all this, we're talking what this kid's game is. What we're talking about here is maybe 5% of his game. The other 95% of his game is solid. That was just kind of the only real noticeable thing, and we're maybe talking about 5% of his overall game.
Yeah, I mean, I look so forward to seeing this guy handling our transition up ice.
Oh yeah.
Quarterbacking a power play.
It's somebody I like to go back to, because honestly, I think it's the last one we had was Alec Mahalik.
Yeah.
Just that smooth skater, the stick handling, when, coming through the neutral zone, he was going to make it. He was not losing that puck.
Yeah.
He was getting around guys. He was getting the puck into the zone. There was no doubt about it every time. And to me, that's the comparison I would make. Okay, so, well, like I said, we leave Sunday, get home Monday. Things are a little different. A lot of what I'm going to be doing here is quoting from this article that came out on Business Wire, I believe businesswire.com. This article, the article was titled, Youngstown Phantoms hire Jason Deskins and Ryan Kasecki as co-general managers and vice presidents of hockey operation for 2021-2022. This was the beginning of the article and kind of explaining the new guys here. The Youngstown Phantoms of the United States Hockey League and Black Bear Sports Group are pleased to announce the immediate hiring of Jason Deskins and Ryan Kasecki as co-general managers and co-vice presidents of hockey operations for the Phantoms. Jason joins the Phantoms from his role as assistant general manager and director of scouting with the Omaha Lancers. Ryan is currently the assistant general manager and scout for the Maryland Black Bears and will continue with the dual roles. Wow. Yeah, the article goes on, talks about Jason Deskins, currently the head coach of the Honey Baked midget minor program in Detroit, which he has a national championship there. Played at Miami University, was captain of the Red Hawks. Ryan Kasecki, let's see. In the past, he was an assistant coach with the Muskegon Lumberjacks. He also currently coaches the Fox Motors 2005 team. Right off the bat, just those two names, they come with a very, very impressive resume.
Yeah, no doubt. USHL experience, top tier youth. Yeah, these guys have a wealth of experience here.
So of course, in meaning that, basically what that means is Brad Patterson was demoted from the role of general manager. He is going back to, he will still be the head coach, just not the general manager anymore. This was a quote in the article from Keith Primo, president of hockey operations for the Phantoms and former pain in the ass of the Philadelphia Flyers. And that we no ill will now towards Keith Primo. We both met him. We both have spoken to him, explained to him, we are Penguins fans. We had issues with you back in the day. He laughed. It was all good. Yeah. He used to play for the Flyers. He was a huge pain in our ass. But anyways,
that goal, yeah.
We're not talking. No, we're not going to talk about that goal. Moving on. His quote in this article: "We wish to thank Coach Patterson for the fine work he did for the past 2 years while performing the role of head coach and general manager. We are thrilled to have Jason and Ryan on board so Brad can return full time to coaching, where he has achieved great success over the years for the Phantoms." This was kind of the funny part of it. We usually have a policy. We don't specifically criticize players during the season. We try to keep things general. We don't really ever try to go all in on our criticisms. We try to keep them light. Co-owner of the Phantoms, Murray Gunty, apparently decided not to take this tact with his statement, with his quote in this article. Yeah, this was a quote from Murray Gunty, co-owner of the Phantoms. Given our poor performance on the ice the past 2 years, particularly on the defensive end, where we were consistently among the worst in the league, we felt we owed it to our players, fans, and the whole organization to make meaningful changes to our staff, our recruiting team, and overall player development process. These are things we said to each other, never really said on the podcast because we thought maybe just a little too mean.
I mean, they were things that were obvious.
Yeah.
But yeah. I mean, if anything, especially over the past couple of weeks with the RMU thing, we have found out that Mr. Gunty is not a shy person.
No.
No, he says what he thinks, and he is willing to back things up. That is a compliment.
When it's all said and done, I'm actually impressed by this statement, I would say.
Yeah.
Just of the brutal honesty of it. You don't really get that business speak. You don't get that, just kind of that typical, businessman releasing a statement, kind of garbled nonsense. He was pretty direct and to the point into this. And honestly, I actually gained a little more respect for him just on that alone.
Yeah. Yeah, not glossing things over here. Yeah.
Yeah, let's see here. I believe I got one other section. Oh, yes, of course. Andrew Goldman cheating on us with another publication, giving quotes to other people. In this article, our good friend Andrew Goldman was quoted as, Jason and Ryan will be huge assets to both the Phantoms and all of the junior hockey operations at Black Bear Sports Group. They are proven winners with deep connections throughout the hockey world. They will be able to bring together the entire Black Bear youth and junior hockey network to continue our ascension program and recruit elite players to join our junior teams. Why doesn't he ever give us quotes like this?
Because that's more of the business talk, and we don't do that.
I put on Twitter, the whole point of the tweet I put out, as far as like all the news going on, what comes next, that was basically me teasing that a new episode was coming out. How does Andrew reply to that? Wins. What comes next? Wins.
Well, fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. Yeah.
Yeah.
Am I leaving anything out of any of this? I went through this article. Am I leaving anything out?
I believe there was one more line in the article.
Wait, let me look here. Let me look. Oh, right here. Last sentence of this entire article that I printed out. That's about a page and a half. The last line. Assistant coaches Jeff Potter and Justin DiMartino, along with head scout Casey Kesserling, have been relieved of their duties effective immediately.
Okay, I don't even need to turn on the air conditioning in here anymore because that is so cold.
I'm not going to criticize whoever it was that wrote this article because it was kind of all over the place. There was a spot in the middle of the article about a new weight room. Just kind of thrown in there in the middle of the article.
Which is a nice thing.
Whoever wrote this is a professional who makes way more money than I do doing this. That was a little cold. Jeff Potter's been around for a while. They're cutting it. Just thank you for your time with think about what we've maybe spoken to Brad Patterson a few times over the past so many years. Anytime you talk to him, he finds a way to bring up Jeff Potter.
Yeah.
Unsolicited. You would have thought those two were brothers the way Brad talked about him.
Yeah. So,
I mean, in that case, I feel bad for Brad. He's losing his assistant coaches. And, that was the crazy thing of it at main camp. You saw the three of them together. While these games were going on, I believe Demo came down and coached one of the Stars games. I believe Coach Demo came down, coached one of the Stars games. But other than that, you saw these guys huddled together. So somewhere between Sunday afternoon and Monday morning, these guys were dropped like a hot potato.
Potter was out schmoozing with the scouts, giving them rosters.
Yep. There we go.
So yeah, I don't know what happened between Sunday and Monday.
We're up to $1.25, by the way.
Yeah, I don't know what happened, but obviously things change very quickly.
Yeah, it's not the end of the world. You're going to have people come. You're going to have people go. You want to say it's not a big deal, especially with the amount of time, Jeff Potter spent with the Phantoms, spent in the Phantoms organization. Yeah, like I said, anytime we talked to Brad, he always spoke very fondly of Jeff Potter. So, that's kind of had to be a real bummer for him that he won't be on the bench with him anymore. Definitely wish him both the best of luck. They're high quality people. They're great coaches. Apparently it just reached the point that Murray Gunty felt that a change needed to be made.
We had not had the performance on the ice the past couple of seasons. There's no doubt about that. So we'll see where we go from here.
And that's just one of the things we have to look forward to this season. There's going to be there's going to be fresh eyes. There's going to be a fresh perspective on the course of this team. And in a lot of ways, especially with how the last couple seasons have gone, not even factoring COVID into anything, but just the way these last couple years have gone, maybe we just reach that point that, it's time to, bring some new people in and see what happens. Because when it was all said and done, apparently the old way just was not working. Okay, so another announcement that came out Monday, back when the schedule was released for next season, the USHL schedule, There was kind of an oddball listing on the Phantom schedule. That was December 3rd and 4th, I believe. 2 games with the Green Bay Gamblers that were listed as being played in Rochester, New York. I believe somebody tweeted out something about a week and a half ago referencing something called the American Cup. Still not a ton of details there. We got more of those details on Monday. Yeah, what do you got for that?
Well, it's going to be December 3rd through the 5th, with the Phantoms playing games against the Green Bay Gamblers on the 3rd and the 4th. And it will be at the Bill Gray Regional Iceplex in Rochester, New York. Home of the Flaming Zamboni.
Okay, now you have to explain this for anybody who has not seen the video.
If you just go Flaming Zamboni, Rochester, you'll see a video that circulated the internet a while back. A Zamboni caught fire on the ice. I believe it was the hydraulic fluid. Flames everywhere. Driver drove it off the ice.
With this thing fully engulfed.
Yeah. He was completely fine and probably saved that arena a lot of money repairing a rink. That would have been catastrophic. And this is a really well-used youth rink. It would have been a pretty big blow to the hockey scene there. So kudos to that driver. That was one of those amazing videos.
Now, all of this has nothing to do with the American Cup. Just when it was announced right away, you were, wait a minute, I think this is where that happened. So
yeah. And in addition to the Phantoms playing there, there's 3 days. It's a youth tournament, 14U, 15U, 16U, and 18U. So a lot of good hockey, probably a few kids who will be playing on the Phantoms in 3 or 4 years. So Rochester is kind of a schlep, but we'll see.
And that is all the time we have for this episode. Thank you for listening along. The Dump and Chase podcast is brought to you by hockeyfan.com. We are also syndicated on ohiohockeydigest.com in the Phantom section. You can check us out on social media, and as an added bonus, we now have a Linktree page, which serves as a one-stop shop for all of our links and other websites of note. That link will be in the description below. Make sure to bookmark it. If you haven't done so yet, make sure to subscribe to our channel. Tell your friends about us, especially if you're in St. Louis. Apparently, we're getting pretty popular there, so make sure if you're in St. Louis, you're spreading the word there as well. You know, the season will be here before you know it. We've got some fun stuff planned for the fall. So hopefully, once we get into the full swing of the season, all of you that are listening, and hopefully many, many more, will be back with us. As always, again, thank you for listening along. For Justin Irwin, I'm Sam Olmstead. We will talk with you all again soon, and bye, everybody.
Brought to you by Mature Singles of the Greater Pittsburgh area.